So what we want to do today is let's focus on how we're going to articulate the benefits of selling the TalassureQ. So this sales aid was designed to be used on a tablet or even printed out. I mean, sometimes, folks, you're going to be making this presentation over a lunch table or a shop floor or a counter somewhere. So you're not always going to be in a position to fire up a computer and project some PowerPoint on a screen. That's not always going to work. So we wanted to make this very simple, clean, print it out, a couple sheets of paper. You can print out with your printer and have a sales aid to communicate this concept with the prospect. Now, I'm just going to review the sales aid at a high level to provide you the basic outline. There is a script, but again, it's not a he said, she said type script. I mean, you guys are all professionals. Basically, what we did was put some language together on how it should flow and the key points that you want to make on each one of these slides. Plus, we know you guys are all creative. You're going to add to, tweak, modify, take away, but be careful about overcomplicating it. One of the things that's important about this presentation is it's short and it's clean and it gets to the point. And also remember, as every company is a prospect for the Q. And as Phil pointed out, every sales call, he leads with the Q because that's their number one pain point he's finding out. So think of everybody on your client list, all of your prospects, and anybody you've got a relationship with that you couldn't sell consulting or couldn't sell anything to. Just think of those people as you're thinking about how and where you can use this product. So with that mindset, again, I just want to step you through the slides. So the beginning slide is just nothing more like you do in any sales presentation. It's build rapport. It's just basically establish the reason why you're there, and that's to help them deal with the number one issue of hiring good people, and you're there to help them assure they get good talent. Then it's designed to move in towards putting context around the issue that you're there to help them with. You're looking to get engagement here. You're looking to get agreement from them that this is happening, and then transition with language about, have they ever really put a cost to, what something like this could be cost in their organization and the cost of a bad hire. And then you want to talk about that. You want to explain that, a $12 an hour employee costs them $7,500. Even an $8 an hour employee costs them $5,000. And for those people who even actually admit to making hiring mistakes, they say it costs $15,000, which is significantly higher than the other two numbers, but that's because they're including the salaries, and they're also including the benefits, and they're including the workman's compensation. I mean, all those things come into play. And if you look at where we're going with a $15 an hour minimum wage, these numbers get even higher. So you want to just point that out to them. So you're trying to have them feel that pain. And then you want to point out that the dominoes start to fall when they start realizing the other impact of their business. And when they start seeing how it affects their business in such a negative way. So as you go through these examples, your goal is to get them to connect to it, relate to it, and then transition to, why do you think these folks get hired? I mean, nobody makes a hiring decision for this to happen, but yet it seems to happen because you're trying to get into the next part of the presentation, which is, the point where you just point out the biggest reason it happens is because we're forced to make decisions with limited or missing information. And that whether we like it or not, people are like icebergs, and you only get to see what you want to see. And we all know that what you see is not what you get. And yeah, this iceberg slide's been around forever. Why? Because it works. Use it. We see it around forever because we're assessment professionals, but your prospects, they haven't seen it forever. So it's a really good slide. But basically where we're trying to get to is for them to understand the problem really exists, help them identify why the problem exists, and then provide a solution. But one of the things that's important at this point is to make sure that we find out about their hiring system. What are they doing now? So that we can connect the dots for them at the end. And a great transition or validation question or closing question here is, if I could show you a way to improve this process that would actually save you money, would you be open to try it? And yes, it sounds salesy, but it is salesy. You're trying to sell here. So, but the key word here is, are you willing to try it? Because that's all we're asking them to do is try it, right? So then we want to reassure them that what they've been doing is very important, and they should continue to do it. And again, you guys have seen this slide forever because it works. But you know, what they've been doing is leaving them a little short on information, which is why they have to add the assessments, because that's the way to get predictive information and make sure they understand things that they can't glean from an interview. And so really, you're trying to set up the fact that everybody they're trying to hire, what are they trying to learn about that person? What is the purpose of the interview? What are they trying to learn? They're trying to learn if this person can do the job and if this person will do the job. And the only way you're going to find that out is by using an assessment. Then you take them through the product. And we just went through a lot of this language. There's a script. You get the language out of the script, use your language. So you're going to take them through the product. I like this slide first because when you show them the first page of a sample report, there's a lot of stuff on that page. And their eyes kind of roll around in their head trying to figure out where they're supposed to look. So I found that stepping them through this information by itself first gets them to understand the product better before you take them to this page where there's a lot of stuff on the page. So that helps with the transition. Then you can show them what the report actually looks like in their inbox and the value of the information, the additional information they're going to get. You want to address some of these points that are on the screen, point out some of the questions, connect them to what you talked about in the presentation. But it's really important, don't overtrain here. All right, you're just giving them enough information so they feel comfortable with their decision. You don't want to overtrain. And again, throughout each one of these slides, you need to be asking qualifying questions. Can they see the value? Do you think this would help them in their hiring process? So it's all leading up towards them seeing how this can benefit them, which takes you to the close, which is the reviewing the benefits and actually connecting these benefits to the issues and challenges that you learned during the interview. So you can connect those dots. Which leads down towards the close, which is where you're asking for the order. Now, Phil, I don't think he mentioned it, but one of the things I know he closes to is a 10-pack. He does a starter pack for $350. He felt that was a really nice, easy point of entry. Most business owners can spend $350. I mean, they're paying that for internet, they're paying that for their phone bill. It's not something that's off the charts. And all the language to do that is in the script. So what you're closing right down to is just a starter pack. Now, if they hesitate here, then they didn't understand the benefit, or they can't see the return on that investment. So you may have to review a little bit on how they were actually going to save them money. And the word is save them money. There's not a cost here. This is a savings. They're already spending this money. It's just in different areas. But if for some reason they didn't move forward, then you do not want to leave without doing a demo. And I don't mean to be absolute, but I'm going to be. You don't want to leave without doing a demo. All right? Because assuming you articulated the value properly, which I will have always assumed that, there's two reasons they don't buy. One is they don't believe it does what you say it can do, or they're not comfortable with how to use it and where it would fit in. Well, that's where you come in. And what you want to do is maximize your return on the time and energy you spent with this prospect, the time and energy you spent to get there. And so you want to do a demo. And yes, sometimes even if you have to give them away. And Phil has done that. Anthony, if you'll unmute Phil, I'd appreciate it. Phil has done that, haven't you, Phil?
Hold on, Phil, I'm coming to you. There you go.
Phil, are you there?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, and you've even done that. You've even given some away if you have to. I mean, sometimes you sell down to a demo, but other times you've actually given them away, right?
Yeah, it's pretty much just as you described it. It's, you know, if they're not willing to buy to get started, I'll offer to give them one. You know, to use on somebody who's already doing the job. Let's see how it goes.
All right, great. So Phil gives them one on somebody who's already existing. That's a great place to start because what happens, it validates that the information's accurate. Because once they read the report and they see it's accurate on their person that they had you assess, you're in, because now they know that it's going to give them information about somebody they don't know from a hole in the ground. So you want to make sure you do it. Actually go into the presentation prepared to demo. You can set up a self-registration, print it out on a 3x5 card like this, and you know, set it up with a time limit on it, and give it to them. Let them do it right there. This way, it's not, well, get me the pass. Let me get to the email address. Who's gonna here? Take this card. You know, try it on the one person we're talking about, or use this on your next hire. You want to make sure that you're prepared to do that. As you can tell, I get a little, you know, enthusiastic about this topic because, to give you a quick backdrop, I used to do John's job for a long time, and everybody that I managed, what were, you know, hundreds of people in the assessment industry, starting and growing their business. The most successful ones understood the power of demonstration. Okay, and that's not just Q, by the way, guys. Mike mentioned it earlier, that he's actually given a couple MXs away to grow the business in other areas. But doing a demonstration, you get a lot of value. Even if they don't buy after that, you still have now someone you have assessed in that company. And on the next sales call, you're going to say, yeah, and I've done some assessments over for this company. They're not a client, but you did assessments over at that company. It adds credibility, and you can leverage that. So you definitely want to do a demo. And so I have one partner who built an entire client base by doing nothing but doing presentations and doing a no-risk trial offer. He went in there, give them anywhere from 2 or 4 assessments, and if they use it, they're going to buy. Now, I'm not going to promise you everybody who tries, everybody you offer it to is going to try. But I can tell you that most that do try become a client. I mean, we got a client here in town, Dogtopia. They buy 10 assessments every 2 months. Now, that's not 10 a month, but there's only 8 employees. They hire temporary help, you know, college kids, so it's natural turnover, but she wants to make sure she gets the right people. I'd take 50 of those clients tomorrow. So that's the value of doing a demonstration, and it's critically important.